If you're off shopping this month, you could bag yourself a bargain. That's because retailers are ramping up promotions to try and draw in customers. Apparently, the wet July weather, coupled with the cost of living crisis, means people haven't been hitting the shops as they normally would at this time of year. Well, Kate Hardcastle is a retail expert. Kate, what kind of promotions are we talking about here?
Hi, good evening. Yes, there are promotions to be had. Many, I'm sure, will feel like they're bombarding the inboxes of your listeners. And I think it's always that old adage that rings true. Everything is only a bargain if you've got the money to spare anyway. What sort of things are we seeing? Lots of fashion, lots of summer items, particularly as they start to clear. It doesn't look like we're going to get a revival of the summer anytime soon. But I think if you lift sort of the bonnet of this, it's a little bit more complex than just we've had some bad weather and retailers are trying to do the best to get people in the stores. I think it's also to do with the fact that people are starting to realise we're heading into autumn, winter. We know that actually many households have been stretched when it comes to their finances. They know that they'll start to have to put the heating on. They know that it's going to be that change of season. There's a lot of pressures in what we call the golden quarter. So that's September to December period anyway, as we start to pave our way towards things like Christmas for spending. And I think people are just really aware that they now have to kick the budget in. And that means that the demand goes down in stores and retailers react to that by putting all the sale banners up.
Okay, so is it clear that, this summer is very different to previous years? Do the figures back that up?
It's evolving over the time. It's only slight percentages. But what we've seen, which I think creates the hardest challenge to give year-on-year examples, is we don't have a traditional sales period anymore. So when you go back even only 10, 15, 20 years, you would have quite strict sales periods. And right now, we would be seeing in stores back to school at full prices, but we'd see a lot of summer wear being reduced for the first time. And people would go in and buy some items and then they'll probably store it away for next year. Ditto garden furniture, things like that, because it's a change of season. The thing is, due to online, due to the way we change, due to the fact there's constant promotions, a lot of these items have been on sale or discounted pretty much for months and months now. So it's a different way that retailers are having to adjust to the way we're buying as consumers. And that's why any facts or figures, even though it's a couple of percent, they don't really ring as true because we're not seeing a calendar that looks the same year on year. And this is the shift and adjustment that we're seeing in retail generally.
Okay, you mentioned fashion a little bit earlier on. I can see why fashion retailers who go through different seasons, of course, would have to react. But are there other retailers who perhaps are more protected and don't need to be working so hard to get the shoppers in?
That's a really good question. When it comes to fashion, I think one of the big changes we're seeing is re-commerce as well, which is people selling on things they no longer want, but it's keeping it in the marketplace longer. And that goes also for electrical too. So we were hearing a lot from brands like Apple this year earlier, where they've maybe not been getting that same demand. There's normally always an iPhone released in September, and therefore we'd be always focused towards how that was going to surge the marketplace. But they're not sort of getting the same reaction as they used to with that. So apart from the essentials, and hopefully we will start to see some slight shift in food prices, I think every industry is impacted by how we are buying differently. And there's one main reason for that, and that is every part of retail, when it comes to non-essentials, is a competition of each other now. And that's because we buy so fluidly. It's not just a case of fashion. We choose between fashion and electrical. We will spend our disposable income where we feel we get the best bargain.
Okay, Kate Hardcastle, a retail expert. Thank you very much for joining us here on Drive and taking us through that.